Before we get into today's video, I've got 3 things for you. Number 1, if you want to get a notification whenever we post a new video, make sure you ring that bell. Number 2, there's a TCG Player affiliate link in the show notes. After clicking that link, every purchase you make on tcgplayer.com helps support this channel. Number 3, you'll also find a link to our Patreon where you can support us directly. And now, kick back and enjoy the show. What's up, Spikes? We're back. This week, we've got something really cool for you. We are playing budget decks.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. For those of you that weren't following us on Twitter and on, what's the other
Reddit.
YouTube?
Instagram.
What's the
Twitch.
No. Yeah, so for those of you that weren't following us on those platforms, first of all, like, why aren't you following us on Twitter? Because our Twitter's sweet, I run it.
Yeah.
So we've been running a budget contest. We ran it from, it was like a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Basically what we did was we had everybody build $75 budget cEDH decks. Mm-hmm. So they are the most cutthroat $75 decks that you can find. We got a million submissions.
Just under 100? 94.
Yeah, we had 94 budget submissions. They're so cool. If you want, we'll put a link in the show notes if you want to see all of them. These are the 4 decks that won the contest. So the winners, the people that built the decks, are getting prizes. We're going to get altered commanders of all of these commanders here. Madison is going to alter them, and we're going to send them out to the lucky deck builders. Sorry, not even lucky. It wasn't luck. It was skill.
It was all skill. Yeah.
They're really good decks. So anyway,
0% luck, 100% skill.
I'm playing Pure and Toothy. This is a really cool deck. I plan on drawing a ton of cards. This is built by Fire Riff.
It's very specifically.
Congratulations. This was selected by the judges. We had 3 judges. Cobblepot, Scotty, and Shaper Savant. Picked these three of these decks, and then the 4th one, I won't tell you which, but it was selected another way.
Yeah. So I am playing Vile Smasher the Fierce and Crom Ludovic's Opus. It is kind of just a Grixis version of the Curiosity Control that you probably know, maybe love, who knows. I love it, and so I'm playing it today. I'm going to put a Curiosity effect on my Vile Smasher and draw too many cards and hopefully win. This deck was made by Wedge. No, not that Wedge. He's a prolific member of the cEDH community, not the Manosaurus.
Yeah, super talented.
But also Wedge from the
cool dude.
hit us up too. Yeah, we met him in Vegas in person, and he was
a cool guy.
It's all right, I guess. He's fine. And Vile Smasher, Crom.
So I'm playing Kess, Dissident Mage, Consultation Kess. Somebody submitted a budget list, which is super exciting. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be consulting and Kessing and
consulting some demonics.
How was your deck selected?
My deck was selected as the People's Choice voted. So of the decks not selected by the judges, we put the rest of them up for people to vote on Reddit, and this was the winner.
Yeah, so, Budget Brew Summit. Reddit.com/r/budget.
I feel like we should have done like a Teens Choice where somebody got doused in slime afterwards.
But what are you playing?
This deck was built by the Doctor.
The
Doctor.
I am playing Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid, Choo-Choo, Teller of Tales. So it's like it's a Glimpse of Nature style Cloudstone Curio, bounce your creatures, draw a bunch of cards style deck. It's really cool, right up my alley. I love creature-based combo decks. This one was actually submitted by Dan from the Laboratory Maniacs. You may have heard of him. He's, semi-prolific.
Is he Jim from the Spike Feeders?
He might be Jim from the Spike Feeders. We met him in Vegas, and side by side you can't tell the difference.
We did meet Jim from the Spike Feeders.
He wishes.
Anyway, so I'm going to hope to draw a bunch of cards and play a bunch of creatures.
Yeah. Cool. I'm starting.
Awesome.
Yes.
So I'm going to draw a card.
Do it. I dare you.
I'm playing this Snow-Covered Island, and I'm going to pass the turn.
I'm going to draw a card for my turn. I don't have anything fancy like a snow-covered island. I just got this basic island. And I'm going to pass the turn.
I'm going to draw a card. I don't have anything like these fancy snow-covered islands, so I'm going to play a basic island. And then I'm going to play a Soul Ring.
Well, it is.
Oh, no.
Then I'm going to pass the turn.
Okay. Not as bad as it could have been.
I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to play this Terramorphic Expanse. And, I'm just going to crack this right away, just to save some time. All right, and off of my Terramorphic Expanse, I'm going to find an island and pass the turn.
Okay, I'll draw a card.
We're all playing mono blue
islands.
Yep.
Blue is the best color, so.
I think what I'm probably going to do is just play this Exotic Orchard.
Well, that's just an
It
island.
taps for blue.
Exotic island. Island orchard.
Then I'm going to tap 2 and cast Everflowing Chalice.
Ooh,
one.
Kicked Uno times.
And I'll pass the
Just
turn.
one kick, just a boot.
Just a boot right to the chalice. Am I right, gamers?
I hope not.
Just a boot too big.
I'm going to play this Sulphur Falls. Because I control an island, it will not enter the battlefield tapped.
That's powerful.
And then I'm going to cast a Demir Signet.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Oh boy. I'm going to pass the
All
turn.
right, I'm gonna untap. Draw this here card here. This here card here. I'm gonna play this mountain. And I think I'm gonna cast this spell that I don't think I've ever cast before, but seems super cool. Secrets of the Dead.
Oh,
yeah.
Whenever I cast a spell from my graveyard, draw a card.
That card is,
Yeah.
it puts in a lot of work, actually.
Pass turn.
Alright. Draw. Okay, so that doesn't work yet. I'm going to play this Forest, and then I'm going to tap out for this Paradise Druid.
Nice.
And
Shields down.
That is hexproof because it is currently untapped.
Draw card.
It is, and
Also,
does.
you just gave James's Exotic Orchard is now a tropical island.
Darn.
Exotic Orchard
Boy.
online.
You fool.
You foolish fool.
Darn.
I'm going to play
Shucks
this
to the
Reliquary Tower.
Oh. Oh. He has no maximum hand size.
Oh no.
And I'm going to cast Peer.
Pier and Toothy.
Not Toothy?
Pier.
No, I'm going to cast Toothy.
Toothy.
We'll go
Not
to
Peer.
Toothy.
Toothy?
We'll go to Toothy. We'll go to Pier.
Toothy? In this economy? I'll pass the turn.
I'm gonna untap.
Toothy? In my computer? It's more likely than you
It's
think.
more likely than you think. Okay, I think this
You got it.
works. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna play a Shadow Blood Ridge.
That doesn't work.
Alright.
So the reason I'm not sure that it works is because it's kind of like a signet on its own. So I'm not sure that I can tap these 3 in combination for Grixis, but I believe that I can. Because I can turn
So you
this
can tap
island
that
into a blue and a black, and turn
Spend
the
a
black into a black and a red.
Yeah.
Battle Smasher the Fierce.
That's good.
That's
instinct, too.
transitive properties of math, something? I don't know.
That's
card.
Of mana?
I'm gonna play this second island. That's a spicy island.
island number 2.
Island number 2. Pair of islands.
Second island, same as the first.
I'm gonna pass the turn.
Alright.
Oh,
I needed this island to be a swamp.
yeah. Nobody could tell.
Yeah.
I've only got 5 mana. I'm Jan.
I was
I
going
do
to
say that a lot. That's the first thing I do. Wake
Yeah,
up,
that's
look
you.
in the mirror. Me,
That's
I'm
what you
Jay.
sound like.
That's what you sound like.
I think I'm just going to spend this turn ramping. I'm going to play this Prairie Stream, and then I'm going to cast this Farseek. And if that's okay, I'm going to attempt to shortcut. I am going to also cast a Gate Creeper Vine,
A geek.
just to search twice.
Oh,
Do it.
It's all good?
You know what? I'll allow it.
Cool. Okay, so off of this Gate Creeper Vine, I'm going to search for a gate card, the Selesnya Guild Gate, and put it into my hand. And then off of Farseek, I'm going to find an island and put that into play tapped.
Not bad.
Then I'm going to pass the turn after shortcutting a bunch.
Okay, I'm going to untap. I'm going to draw a card. That's going to trigger Toothy.
In this economy?
Put a counter. On
two.
I'm going to play a
Oh, wow.
snow-covered island.
I got.
Then, I think I'm going to tap the Exotic Orchard for blue.
Ooh.
I'm going to cast Pure.
Well, so you mean green off your
Oh,
exotic
yeah,
orchard.
yeah, we got it.
I was like,
We
excuse
did it.
me.
We got there. Then I'm going to move to combat.
Oh. Ooh. Block.
Bill.
That's aggressive. Sure.
Ooh, no blocks from Bill.
Bill goes to 38.
And I'll pass the turn.
I will untap. I will draw for my turn.
At least James didn't brainstorm before damage.
Yowza.
Jeez, that would be
Giant.
Oh man, why is my mana so complicated? Okay, it's not actually complicated. That's the secret. Because this doesn't.
Nice.
I'm gonna tap 2 mana. I'm gonna cast Talisman of Dominance.
trigger.
Trigger Battle Smasher for 2.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
2.
38.
It's Jan's face. He will also go to 38.
I needed that face.
Then I'm going to tap this Talisman and this Demir Signet. So colorless into blue-black. I'm going to cast Wishclaw Talisman. So
This is actually a pretty sweet card from Eldraine.
from Eldraine, yeah.
Yeah.
So is if it's resolving.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
It's going to enter the battlefield with 3 wish counters on it, and then I can pay 1, tap and remove a wish counter to search my library for a card, put it into my hand, shuffle my library, also known as Demonic Tutor.
Yeah.
And then an opponent gains control of Wishclaw Talisman, and I can only activate this ability during my turn. Not at sorcery speed, but during my turn.
During your turn only. Yeah.
I'm going to move to combat. I'm going to pass my turn.
Yeah.
Pass your turn or pass your combat?
Pass my turn.
The whole turn.
The whole
Okay.
turn. Move to end
In your
step.
end step, I am going to attempt to cast Flame Sweep.
Oh. Sweep in the flames. Well, my Boss Smash is a 2/3, so I'm going to skip the priority order and say that I have no effects.
Hold up.
Good shot.
I have no
Paul.
effects. I'm tapped out. I don't run all these fancy pitch spells.
Yeah, I have no effects.
All right.
Swoosh.
Swept.
There is a Toothy trigger.
Yes,
You get
you
to
draw a card.
Uno Carta. My Boss Smasher has 2 damage.
Good
Does anybody
shot.
have any effects?
I'm going to gut shot. Hornet Sting.
All right. So I'm going to draw my card. Hiya.
Please.
That was not.
That was not.
That was.
I'm going to cast Compulsive Research. Research compulsively.
Draw 3. Discard 2 unless you discard a lando.
Bill?
No effects.
Ooh.
I'm going to Narcissus Reversal.
Ooh.
Oh, copy it. Return the original to your hand.
I think that's not
That's
a terrible play,
interesting.
actually.
It would be better if he had Toothy in play still.
Yeah.
Toothy.
He had Pure and Toothy even. This would have put 6 counters on his Toothy.
Peel and Toothy.
Poof and Toothy.
I'm going to red Elemental.
Oh my
Blast
goodness.
on there, so it's
Okay.
reversal.
Whoa.
Okay, so this Pure was, or this Toothy was dead out.
Yeah, so I'm going to draw 3. Now I'm going to discard cards unless I discard a land.
Yes, 2 unless you discard.
Let's discard Increasing Ambition
That seems good.
and Divining Witch.
Ooh. I like that card.
And pass the turn.
Right, untap. Draw. I think while people are tapped out, I'm just going to run these out, just so that I can say that I did it. I'm going to play this Plains as my line for the turn. Now that I have creatures in my graveyard, I'm going to play this Corrupted Grassstone.
Nice.
It does have to play tapped. And then I'm also going to play Cloudstone Curio.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I
Nope,
have no effects.
Pass the turn.
Yeah, hold on a sec. Draw a card. I'm going to play a snow-covered island.
You would.
I'm going to cast Ponder.
Ooh.
Look at the top 3. I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to draw a card. Ponder resolves. I am going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll cast Pure.
Here.
That imaginative rascal.
What a rascally.
And I'll pass the turn.
He's got a friend. Would you also like no?
What a wascally
Search your
wabbit.
library for your redundant copy of Toothy.
I could shuffle.
Wow, he could have
It
shuffled.
would have been good off the Ponder, actually.
Yeah.
If they were cards you wanted, I suppose. I'm
That's so
gonna draw a
powerful.
card. Well, this is interesting, ain't it? It ain't not. Ha.
What?
Shut up. I'm gonna pass the turn. Nothing suspicious happening.
Doesn't even attack me.
No.
Doesn't
I have to
even
block.
activate his Witch
Draw a
Claw
card.
Talisman.
I don't want somebody else. Demonic tutoring?
That's true.
6 mana, 5 mana. Math
Yes.
is hard.
5.
Cast Frantic Search.
Yes.
Ooh.
With, blue and red floating.
Weird.
Yeah.
Got 1. A 2.
Excellent.
Eggs.
These are all the cards I was looking for. I'm going to discard Dizzy Spell and Diminishing Returns.
Diminishing returns.
Land return.
Oh!
He did it.
I did it.
And you've got a what? A
blue
blue
and
and
a
a
red
red
floating.
floating? That's
He's gonna
okay.
cast Kiss.
No.
He's gonna cast something else.
I'm going to cast Kiss.
Oh, okay.
Oh. You may.
Into millions of open mana. Actually, yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah, because
So you have
So I have no mana flow.
no mana flow.
and I have 2 blue
open. Yeah. Ooh, he can cast things from his graveyard now.
Yeah.
That is what
gets
Kess
to draw a card each time. I'm telling you, Secrets of the Dead is really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna dizzy spell everybody.
Was that -3 -0?
I'm gonna cast Portent.
Oh.
Okay.
So I'm
You
gonna look at the
may.
top 3 cards of Target Player's Library.
Oh,
And
good
it's
target.
first.
Oh, hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Indeed.
Well, I'm gonna put them back.
I have nothing.
I don't know. I can misdirect it.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm not going to, but I could.
I'm gonna look at the top 3 cards of my library. And what's the rest of this thing do?
It is a slow
slow trip.
trip.
Yeah, I can either shuffle or put them back.
And then draw a card later sometime.
Oh, you're gonna put them back?
I'm gonna put them back.
There's a delayed portent trigger.
I'm gonna cast. Ooh. I'm gonna cast Portent again. From
You're
my
targeting
graveyard.
yourself
With
again.
Kess.
No, I'm gonna target.
Ooh.
I don't know who's target now. Elliot.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna trigger Secrets of the Dead first.
Oh, you are. Draw a card. And then you get to look at the top 3 cards of my library and rearrange them however you'd like.
And then he gets to draw 2 cards on my upkeep.
Yeah.
So strong.
That doesn't seem like it bodes well for me, how quickly he slammed those 3 cards back.
And then I
3
believe
lines.
I will pass my turn.
All right, I'm gonna untap.
And on your upkeep,
Hang on.
I
Oh.
trigger.
I guess I do go immediately into my upkeep.
You
Yeah.
did.
Okay. So yeah,
Trigger.
Yeah,
Draw
you,
2.
you got it.
Draw 2.
All right. Do you have any other effects?
Sorry, draw 1.
Oh,
Then draw.
Draw
And
one.
draw.
Draw one twice.
Okay.
Draw one.
I'm going to go to my
put
quest.
counters on my Toothy.
I'm drawing a card. We're done here. I mean, if he didn't counter Kess, how lucky do I feel?
Who are we talking about? Me?
I think it's me. Well, hang on. Well, hang
Hang
on.
on a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna try to. Hang on.
Cast
What do I
you.
have in my graveyard? I only have green spells in my graveyard. I'm gonna keep this one. I'm gonna tap this for a green, choosing green to add a green, and I'm going to attempt to cast Calling.
Yep.
Colin!
That's fair.
I have no effects to Colin Mockery.
Yeah, me neither.
Trigger Cloudstone Curio, no targets.
Okay.
I'm going to play Selesnya Guildgate as my land for the turn.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll pass the turn.
Untap. Draw a card. Play the snow-covered island as my land for the turn.
As
2, 3, 4,
does.
5, 6, 7.
Nexus
Do some stuff, right?
Nexus.
I'm gonna do it. Okay.
5,
Cast this guy.
6.
Yep.
Toothy.
Pass the turn.
I have effects in James's end step.
Oh, is it Flame Sweep?
I would like to cast a
Fact.
fact.
Or back.
Fact or fiction. Is this the way that I want to do it? Yes.
Can priority?
No effects.
No, I'm good too.
Okay, I'm going to reveal the top 5 cards in my library. They are a Darkwater Catacombs, a Dragon Skull Summit, a Future Sight, an Opt, and a Felwar Stone.
Who's picking?
You know what? My good friend James LePage can pick.
Sick. This is an interesting pile.
I was excited to leave those 2 lands
How many
and that
cards do you
future
have?
set on top
I
of this
have
library.
a trillion cards in my hand. 5.
I think.
He can already cast the future sight.
Yeah.
This guarantees his land drop, provided he doesn't already have a land in his hand. I think that's it. What do you guys think?
I'm like, I would be tempted to go greedy and just 4 and 1 this future sight.
I know.
Because like it's so much gas. Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially it's a lot of gas.
It is. And he's got Vile Smasher out. I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my first instinct is to
Yeah.
4
4
and
and
1.
1.
Because if he draws 4 cards, then like that's not great for us, but it's better than him having a
land and
future
mana,
sight.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the piles.
Those are the piles.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to snap take this 4 card pile.
That's
Because that's how Magic the Gathering works.
And then you can opt.
And also, I'm a big dumb idiot. Trigger Vile Smasher for 4 off of this Factor Fiction, my guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh. James, please take 4.
34. 36.
And then, because it just magically ended up in my hand somehow, I'm going to cast this Opt, still in your end step. So I'm going to look at the top card of my library. I'm going to put it on the bottom of my library.
Doesn't even seem like you looked.
And I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to untap. And I'm going to draw a card. Well, this Dragon Skull Summit is awkward, so I'm going to play this perhaps even more awkward Darkwater Catacombs.
nice. Both the lines were bad. It's fine.
WoW is my mana weird. I have 3 signets. So I'm going to tap my Talisman of Dominance to tap my actual signet, my Dimir signet, and I am going to cast. If I'm casting this anyway, I should do it first, right? Because it costs 1 more. But if I cast this, then I cast that, I'm leaving myself with 2. I'm not casting this. I'm going to cast Fellwar Stone. Okay. Trigger Vile Smasher for dos. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis.
According to Mr. Worldwide, that's not how you count to 6.
Oh, it is a 2.
That's Jan.
That's Jan.
36.
36.
Okay. Fellwar Stone results.
Fellwar Stone. Fellwar Stone. Going once. Going twice. Then I'm going to move to discard, or I guess. Yes, I'm going to attempt to move directly to my discard step.
Yeah.
I'm going to discard Ash Barrens
Yeah.
instead of basic land,
Yeah,
cycling it. And go ahead.
I'm gonna untap. Draw this card here. Take a look at what's in my good old graveyard arena. Just like flame sweep these.
Not again.
Stop.
Oh wow, he actually can though.
He's already dead.
Wow, Flame Sweep is so good, it doesn't even hit Cass. She's got flying.
She doesn't even get 2 damage marked on her.
I guess I'm gonna start.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna cast. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Duress.
Ooh.
Targeting Elliot.
Targeting me?
Yeah.
That seems rude. I don't think you should do that.
I feel like I already have. I've already clicked. Fast priority to Bill.
No effect.
Well, I don't want you to duress me, so I'm going to cast this Swan Song, targeting your duress, trigger Vile Smasher.
Yep.
I wish he had a curiosity on him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 6.
Yeah, that's
Jim,
me.
go to 35.
35.
Swan Song, targeting your duress.
I have no effects.
Perfect.
Okay.
He successfully
I
duressed
got a
my Swan
swan.
Song. Haha.
And you got a bird out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
probably
more
what I
value.
would have taken.
1 black, make a 2/2, target opponent, discard Swan Song.
Yeah. I will spend a blue into colorless to cast Frantic Search.
With a...
With a Secrets of the Dead trigger.
Yeah. A Secrets of the Dead trigger, and I have a blue and a red.
I'm gonna pass priority on the secrets of the dead trigger.
Yeah. Also nothing.
Yeah, no effects. And no effects.
No effects on
Frantic Search either.
You have to do it.
Yeah. You can search as frantically as you want, my friend.
So I'm going to discard this Verity Circle and a Whispering Madness.
Okay.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to untap these with a blue and a red floating.
Yes.
Play an island. Spend the blue and the red. Attempt to cast Narset, Parter of Veils.
You have a blue and a red floating.
Yeah,
Right, so you don't have to
floating.
tap this
Yeah.
mount.
There you go. I have no effects to Narset Parter Rails.
James.
Not happy about it.
Yeah, me neither.
Does he have blockers? He's got cast
It's going to I'm a 2/2 now.
and a 2/2. That's not good for us.
You.
Does Vile Smasher hit?
Nope.
blockers?
It's just players. Huh?
Players.
You can't redirect anymore.
Okay, I'll Spell Pierce.
Oh.
I don't like that at all.
Limits the follow-ups. I like that.
Yeah.
I was trying to get something out of Elliot's hands.
Cry about that though.
Sure.
Oh. Ooh, wow.
It's 2.
Yes.
It is.
We've determined that the Spell Pierce is resolving. We don't know with what mode, though.
Yeah. I'll pay 2.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Narset on stack.
It's still on the stack. How does my mana tap?
How does he tap?
Yeah, I don't like that card. Resolving.
Me neither.
Oh, wait, Bill doesn't either, actually.
Neither does James.
Neither does
nobody
James.
likes
Yeah,
this
you know
card.
what? This card's so fine. Yeah, Narset resolves, dude.
There's the resolves.
What's
That's
up?
exciting. All right. Well, I wanted to do more things, but now I don't have any mana.
Good.
So,
Well, you could have just not paid.
just
You
gonna
should,
pass
you
the
should
turn now.
in fact, cry about it. I'm sorry, I can't hear you over your tears and weeping.
It sounds delightful.
All right, I'm going to draw my one card for the turn so far. Oh, that
So
card
far.
is
So far.
bad. I'm going to do this just because I can. Green, and then blue. I'm going to play Runic Armisar, cast trigger on Cthulane.
So no draw.
I do not draw, but I get to play this Volume Wilds for free.
Not bad.
It's true.
Then Runic Armisar on the stack. Everybody good?
Yeah,
No effects to Runic Armisar.
It resolves. Then. Alright. I'm going to. I guess. Move to combat.
Oh, really?
The only person that I can really attack here is James. I don't think I care about attacking James. We're on good terms.
We are.
We're brothers, as some might say.
We are
Wow.
united against Narset.
Tulane has vigilance, though.
He does.
Just like
Well, they do. I'm not going to say he. Just in case.
That's true.
It is
I don't know.
2019.
Maybe.
Yeah. And. Yeah, no, I'm just going to pass the turn.
Okay. On tap.
That's all I'm going to do.
Draw a card. That's my first draw per turn.
Trigger Toothy,
Trigger, Toothy.
which makes Pier happen.
I should put the counters, 2 of them, on Toothy.
correct. Yeah, on the correct.
It's still 2. Oh, period.
Pier, imaginative rascal.
I'm going to cast Nephalia Smuggler.
Oh.
It's a 4-mana Blink effect on a 1/1.
Oh, I have no response.
No response.
Okay, then I would like to cast Verity Circle,
Ooh.
and I'll pass the turn.
In James's end step, I would like to tap this Sulphur False
Yes.
for a blue. Turn that into a black and a red. Use the red to add a blue and a black here. So I have blue, black, black. I would like to go to a black floating and cast Impulse. Trigger Vile Smasher for 2.
I have no effects.
Yeah, no effects for me.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2.
2,
It's
3,
Jan
4.
again.
I'm feeling targeted, guys.
You heard it here first.
Jan's just got a lot of miles.
You heard it here first.
I'm doing my best Jerry
Your
impression.
impulse.
I'm gonna look at the top 4 cards of my library.
It's going to be the name of this episode.
I'm gonna put this one into my hand,
Uh-oh.
and the rest on the bottom in this order.
Is any order.
Then I'm gonna shuffle. So I have a black floating. I'm not going to do anything with it.
Good.
I'm going to move
Powerful.
to untap. Draw my card. My one card for my one turn. What?
How many turns?
I'm going to play a basic island.
So he has another land in his hand.
You do. I am going to tap this basic island. No. Red.
He's gonna cast Niv Mizzet.
Oh my god,
Okay.
not again.
I'm going to tap this talisman for a colorless.
It's fine because he can't draw extra cards.
To tap Shadowblood Ridge for a black and a red.
Okay.
I'm going to turn the black into a black and a blue,
Okay.
and that black into a black and a blue. So I have made 4 mana, and it will be blue, blue, black, red.
Yeah.
If I am correct.
I believe
Yep.
so.
Blue, blue, black, red.
So you need
So I
blue
need
and 2 more red.
blue,
Yeah.
red, red.
Yep.
I would like to, with a black floating, cast Niv Mizzet Perun, trigger Vile Smasher for 6.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Oh, 6.
That's me.
That is James.
I go to 29.
29.
29.
20.
I am going to pass my turn.
All right. I'm gonna untap with this Narset. I never thought I would. I'm gonna draw this card.
That at least puts a cap on the Niv Mizzet.
Yep.
1 per turn still. It is not Notion Thief.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play my own Darkwater Catacombs.
Oof. Join the party.
This is Elliot that was like, oh, I think I want this Narset to resolve. I don't
Yeah.
care, it screws Bill and Jim.
Well, I mean, now
That's
I have
exactly what it
a 5/5
sounds
That's exactly,
flyer.
that's what he sounds like.
That's exactly what he sounds like.
Yeah. We actually just used a recording from earlier in the game.
Yeah.
I don't like you guys.
Here, play it again.
Me, I'm Elliot.
My own father.
Oh, this isn't interesting. I'm just gonna do it because I can.
Don't.
That's the world we live in. I'm gonna cast Whispering Madness from my graveyard. Trigger Secrets of the Dead. Draw a card.
Trigger Niv Mizzet Perun. I draw a card before you draw a card.
Oh, that's. I don't like that. I'm gonna crack this Evolving Wilds first.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm just gonna find this forest and put it into play tapped.
Okay.
Okay. So
You're casting the Whispering Madness off of Kez?
yes.
Okay.
So there, yeah,
So-
there,
so
there is a
there is
Secrets of
a-
the Dead trigger
A Niv
on
Mizzet
top of the
trigger.
Whispering and a Niv Mizzet on top of that.
Okay, I'm going to pass priority on the Niv Mizzet.
Okay, so I'm going to draw my 1 card.
Okay.
That will trigger Niv Mizzet to deal a damage, and I will deal a damage to Narset, Barter of Veils.
Yep.
Seems legit.
Okay, now
I have a Secrets of the Dead.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna draw this card here.
Okay.
And now Whispering Madness is on the stack.
Phil,
No effects, unfortunately.
I'm going to cast Unwind.
Counter target non-creature spell.
Untap
Untap up to 3 lands. That's going to trigger Niv Mizzet. I will not draw a
God,
card.
you best believe it is.
How many cards do you have in your hand, Jim?
3.
Okay. Yep.
Unwind resolves.
Resolves.
Now untap 3 lands.
Nice. We got a damage in on the Narset.
Yeah, we did.
4 more to go.
Hey man, cast instants or sorceries on your guys' turns.
Just going to start countering stuff on everybody's turn. Doesn't matter what it is. Bill, rampant growth, counter it.
No.
No, my rapid growth. Oh.
He's got 3 mana open.
Yep,
That's so much.
still 3.
It's the same.
The same devil 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna tap this blue into a blue-black and a red. I'm gonna cast Dark Deal.
Oh no. Triggered.
So
Niv
trigger
Mizzet.
Niv Mizzet.
I have no effects.
Okay. Mana leak.
Trigger Niv Mizzet.
Oh my goodness.
You guys better kill this Narset.
I'm gonna try my best.
You owe it to me.
We need to kill the Kess, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess
Or
he probably has
Yeah,
more
he's
wheels.
just gonna keep
Let's
trying.
kill
It's fine.
both.
Wheeling is fine.
Why don't we
as
just
long as we get to
Why don't we
draw
just kill
cards.
both?
Okay.
¿Por qué no los
Why do
dos?
you think of that?
Why don't we just kill Jan?
Wow.
I have a knife. I have a knife that I prepared earlier.
Um,
I'm gonna equip Butcher's Cleaver to my Kool-Aid.
I like it. To your Kool-Aid?
Yeah, to my Kool-Aid.
To my choo-choo.
You done yet?
Stop casting
Yeah,
wheels.
so stop casting.
You're good?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm on tap. I'm gonna draw my one card. That was a very bad card to draw.
How do we attack this Narset?
Like,
Really?
can't.
Don't.
Yeah.
I guess I swing in once. Toothy's a 4/4. But then he double blocks it.
We need so
But then he
I,
gets rid of the cast, I guess.
I need to ping it.
This would become a 5/5 to be fair.
Yeah.
5/5. I mean,
true.
he
Yeah,
double
5/5
blocks
is
it, but we can still kill the Kaz.
Yeah, I like it.
If you attack with both of your things, if he double blocks one, the Narset takes 2.
Mhm.
And if he doesn't, you kill the bird as well.
I think I might actually be okay with that, as random as that is. I'm going to move to combat. I'm going to attack Narset with both of these boys. Choo Choo
Wow.
has Vigilance.
So you're just gonna lose to Jim?
Wow, it worked.
Actually, Elliot.
I convinced him.
Yeah, I know. This seems. Yeah, I'll block the Chillin.
Cool.
Chulane.
Narset takes a dose.
Yeah. And then pass the turn.
Okay, I'll untap. I'm gonna draw a card.
Nobody could cast an instant or sorcery on Bill's turn.
Bill didn't cast anything.
Nope.
I'm gonna take this up to 4.
Yeah.
I'm gonna transmute Dizzy Spell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get Essence Flux.
Ooh.
Oh.
That counts. as a
Toothy's an
creature spell?
illusion, not a.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna pass the turn.
Okay. I'm gonna untap. I'm gonna draw for my turn, and that's gonna trigger Niv Mizzet. I'm going to deal 1 to Narset Parter of Vales.
Yep.
I'm going to play a swamp as my land for turn. Alrighty. I'm going to tap this swamp to tap this Dark Water Catacombs for a blue and a black.
Yes.
And then tap an island and cast a Narset Parter of Vales.
Oh my god!
Trigger Vile Smasher for 3.
Now nobody can do anything.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
hang
6.
Trigger the Vile Smasher.
Yeah, trigger the Vile
Vile Smasher
Smasher.
trigger.
Yeah, it's fine.
Vile Smasher trigger.
3.
Bill,
I'll take 3.
35?
35.
35.
There is a Narset Parter of Vales on the stack on my side of the board.
I have no effects.
Miserable.
Bill.
Nothing. Sorry, pals. As I said, I'll draw spells.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool. I have one now. Pass the turn.
Alright. Draw my card for the turn.
Your one card.
Okay. Filter that into a blue and black.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
So if I cast Dark Petition,
Ooh.
Bill.
I have no effects.
trigger this stupid.
Oh yeah,
Mizzet.
trigger Niv Mizzet for
Big
moon.
stupid dragon.
Yeah.
I will draw 1 card. I will deal 1 damage to your Narset Parter of Vales.
Misclick.
Yep.
Yay.
Okay, I got no effects on Dark Petition.
No effects to Dark Petition.
So I'm gonna get this card to my hand. Dark Petition resolves. I'm pretty sure I have Spellmaster.
100.
You got it.
100%. Spellmaster. I have 3 black floating.
You do.
I'm gonna spend these 3 blue and a black to cast a Jace.
Oh.
I still can't cast anything.
2 black floating.
2 black floating.
Hmm.
That seems good for him.
I mean, you can't draw another card right now.
Right
Yeah,
now.
because of the Narset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, Bill.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
No effects.
Cool.
Cool.
Just gonna use it to mill people.
Cool story.
Cool.
Cool.
That's cool.
Cool.
All right. What else you got? Just a Jace. Pass the turn.
Make the Jace pass.
Jason, wielder of mysteries.
Yeah.
Jace, wielder of maniacs.
Wielder of maniacs. 2 black floating. Eh? I'll cast this prismatic lens. I will pick up this Jace.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's middle Elliot for 2.
Ah.
Okay. Island. Forbidden Orchard.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna untap. I don't even want to bounce this runic Armisar back because I can't draw an additional card. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Oh, okay. I'm gonna spend 2 mana, and I'm gonna cast Elfheim Sanctuary.
What is
So at the
that?
beginning of my upkeep, I can search my library for a basic land and put it into my hand. If I do, I skip my draw step.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Neat.
That's kind of cool.
Neato.
It's like abundance almost.
Yeah.
It's a bun dish.
Stop. I'm going to, I guess, just pass the turn. That's it.
Okay. I'll untap. Draw a card. Tick up Toothy to 6.
That's a 7/7.
Wow, that beats over your Niv Mizzet now.
Yep.
It already did. Well, it traded with it previously.
Yeah, now it wins.
Yeah. It certainly
The power
does.
of imagination.
Yep. Combat. I'm gonna attack Elliot's Narset for 8.
For 8.
Yeah, for 7.
7.
7.
I will declare a blocker with Vile Smasher the Fierce.
Okay.
Dead guy.
And I will pass the turn.
Okay. I will untap. I will draw a card with Niv Mizzet Haroon. This will cause Niv Mizzet Haroon to trigger, and I will ping Peer, Imaginative Rascal.
I'm going to respond by blinking it.
Oh. Nice. Just immediate? Nice.
Yeah, no effects.
Nice.
It leaves.
It comes back.
Ooh. I now have a swamp in play, finally, so I'm going to play this Dragon Skull Summit that everybody has known about for 100 years.
Yeah, we have no more information about his hand.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do a thing. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tap this talisman for a colorless. To tap
Oh, goodness.
my Wish Claw talisman, remove a wish counter from it, and attempt to activate its ability to search my library for a card to put into my hand.
Yeah, that's probably bad.
What is it? What's. Move.
What are you asking?
Can you move it so that I can read it? Remove a wish counter, search library card, put it in your hand. Opponent gains control, wish from a talisman, activate this ability. Okay, yeah. I got no responses.
Yeah,
Yep.
I got nothing.
Okay. I'm going to put this card into my hand, and I'm going to give this Wish Claw talisman to my good friend James LePage.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it is yours.
Some turkey's a little dry.
I'm going to tap a black to add a black and a red.
Yep.
Turn the red into a blue and a black.
So you have 2 black and a blue.
And a blue. Turn a black into a blue and a black.
So you have 2 blue and a black.
2 black,
2 black, 2 blue.
Yeah.
Two black, 2 blue.
Yep.
Another blue.
Yep.
Okay.
Cast Jace, Wielder of Mysteries.
Yep.
I have a black floating.
Yep.
Okay, priority.
Yep.
Priority.
Yep.
Priority.
Yep.
Okay, do it.
Okay, Jace, Wielder of Mysteries.
And you have a black floating.
In play. He has 4 counters. I have a black floating. I would like to cast Demonic Consultation. Trigger Niv Mizzet Haroon.
Yep.
Yeah, no effects on the trigger.
Yep.
I will draw. I would like to trigger Niv Mizzet Haroon and ping Peer, Imaginative Rascal.
That just feels bad. Yeah.
Oh, you're letting him go to your graveyard?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Demonic Consultation on the stack.
No, I'm not going to let him go to the graveyard. Demonic Consultation?
I have no effect.
Good.
I'm going to respond by putting Kool-Aid in my hand.
Okay. Go ahead.
I would like to name Borborygmos Enraged.
You got it. Not in your deck.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess. No, good.
No, it is not.
It's not an actual curiosity control deck. Not a green one, at least.
Yeah. I would like to plus Jace Wielder of Mysteries targeting myself.
Yep.
Hang on. I'm going to discard Essence Flux to misdirect it to myself.
Trigger Niv Mizzet to
You got
draw
it.
a card. I draw a card in response to the misdirection and win because of Jace.
You got it.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yep.
That's a deck.
Niv Mizzet Perun is a card.
He's just so big.
It's actually really funny because normally, like, my big thing against
Yeah.
Niv Mizzet is it's impossible to cast. And I think one of the big challenges with the mana base in that deck is that you have to be very careful about how you tap your mana.
Yeah, well, it was part of the draw that I ended up with that game as well, right? Like the specifically Dimmer Signet, Shadowblood Ridge, Darkwater Catacombs was
Yeah.
kind of loopy,
Yeah.
but it worked out, I guess.
You guys just had it like the whole way because like Bill and I couldn't draw cards.
Yeah,
So,
there was like I literally had it was Neoform. I had no 4-drops except for things that counter things, so I couldn't put this Runic Armosaur into anything that like did anything. And then Fibblethip and Cloudblazer.
Yeah.
Creatures that do not do anything when I cast them.
Yeah.
So,
And
not much.
I got put 2 turns behind by this Pyroclasm or Flame Sweep or whatever, and then by the time I recovered, I just couldn't draw cards for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Narset
that
was
Narset
pretty good.
stopped me from.
why don't you cry about it? You had Narset down for half the goddamn game.
And you guys all teamed up to kill my Narset, but
Yeah, it was
yeah,
the appropriate thing to do because
At
it
the
stopped us
time.
from drawing cards.
And
Yeah,
also did.
yeah. So why don't we just go around the table and Elliot, you won, so why don't you start? Let me know what do you like about this deck? Do you think it's going to scale up to a full budget deck if you wanted to, and maybe what didn't work or what could be improved?
So I really like the Curiosity Control style decks. We didn't get to see any of them this game, any of the Curiosity effects, but in the 4-color version of Curiosity Control, you get to play Curiosity and Keen Sense because it is Curiosity, but for 1 green. But in this one, you play like all of them. There's like Ophidian Eye. There's like Tandem Lookout. Tandem Lookout is really sweet because if they like remove your Vial Smasher, you just recast it and Soul Bond again.
Resoul Bonds.
But yeah, so
Plus, you could pair it with Niv Mizzet.
yeah,
You get to do it every time you cast a creature.
yeah, that's the like convenient crossover in this deck, and it is kind of due to the budget restriction. You can include, I guess, like a secondary strategy like that, whereas the Curiosity Control deck is a 4-color deck. You are not casting Niv Mizzet Perun in a 4-color deck, but in this deck,
Because you're looking at like Black Tutors and all
yeah,
that
and
stuff, right?
like lots of like instant that you're looking to draw your deck by just with Vial Smasher.
Yeah.
Whereas in this deck, Niv Mizzet could have been a win condition there.
And you're increasing card draw too via Thrasios and typically Seaborn Muse.
Yeah.
Factors really heavily into that deck. So
The other interesting thing about building it this way is you get Vial Smasher, you get Crom, and this is like a really good base for both Curiosity Control and the Timna Crom deck that Shaper Savant made called Opus Thief, which is, the Narset that we saw too much of that game, like Waste Not, Smothering Tithe. It's 4-color null green, and you just wheel and get benefit off of the wheels. So if you start with this, which I think can already kind of punch above its weight class, you can transition into 2 really strong meta decks, like without too much extra investment.
yeah.
But yeah.
Cool.
So this is, at its core, this is Kess Demonic Consultation. It has the core of the combo in it. The only thing it's really missing is like faster mana rocks, cheaper interaction, and like a smoother line base. But otherwise, this like again, this is at its core the actual combo. So like when we talk about punching above its weight class, this will like haymaker people.
Yeah, you can sneak in a demonic consultation real easily at any table, right?
Again, that was the plan on my upkeep. I was going to untap demonic consultation.
Yeah.
And so and just like it has like value, like Hess is just powerful. Like just being able to rebuy cheap spells out of your graveyard.
Yeah, I was
good.
definitely feeling the pressure when you had, what did you have in your graveyard? Flame Sweep?
I had Flame Sweep again. I could have recast. I had Dark Deal. I could go again. I had at least 2 other wheels that I could have cast from my graveyard.
Yeah.
Diminishing Returns.
Yeah, I was feeling the pressure on that one. Although I guess once Elliot played his Narset, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it didn't really matter.
But yeah, that's a deck. That's a serious deck.
Yeah. So this is definitely, it's Grixis, which tends to have like a heavier investment cost in like land base and tutors and stuff. But I mean, for $75, this will get you.
Yeah, and I feel like
it'll get there.
If you've already got staples lying around, like some pretty good mana rocks or like some good counter magic, or maybe you already have like a demonic tutor lying around, all that stuff slots right into that deck. If you pick that up out of the box, you know, there's a few things that you could cut for some better versions of the same cards, and it would be a deck.
Yeah, that would be a house.
Tell you.
Not to say that it isn't already.
But that's got a very clear upgrade path to an unbudgeted cEDH deck.
Yeah. I think this deck is definitely sweet. Something that I did notice, and this may be intentional, but I'm pretty sure the only way to like really close out the game is with Rashad and Cutpurse, because there aren't really any creatures that do important things on Enter the Battlefield that are negative for your opponents. It's mostly just Rashad and Cutpurse. So I feel like the main strategy of this deck is sort of lacking. Like you could probably slot in, you know, a Laboratory Maniac or a Jace Wheeler of Mysteries, because it's really easy to make some sort of combo that draws your whole deck. Just Cloudstone Curio, bounce 2 creatures, one of them draws a card, you're done. And yeah, I feel like it maybe needs a more effective way to close out the game than just making everybody sacrifice their permanents. Another really powerful thing that people have sort of noticed with Kulane already is it interacts really favorably with Alurin. Because then you don't have to worry about going even on your mana costs. You just keep looping
It's just
your Cloud of Fairies, which
order.
nets mana now, and they all draw cards and stuff like that. So I think even with this deck as it is, the most expensive card by a long shot is the Cloudstone Curio. I think if you even just picked up an Alurin and added it to this deck, it would still be under $75 because I think he went like way under, which is great. But I feel like if you add that and you're still under $75, this deck is maybe unbeatable.
I think actually part of why he went way under is because Kulane is quite expensive.
Yeah,
Kulane's like $15 or something by itself. But yeah, definitely. If you've got one lying around, lots of people have Allurins lying around, right?
People playing back in Tempest.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like I'm pretty sure I have one from back in Tempest, but yeah. And then failing that,
old people. So.
But yeah, I feel like this deck is sweet, and it has the fact that it's only like $40 for this pile of cards is beyond insane. But I feel like there are some definite clear upgrades that would make it super consistent, super strong. I feel like you could sit down at a table and not be even remotely embarrassed to be playing this.
Would you now? There's a lot of crossover between Kulane or Kool-Aid and this like Yarok Alurin deck. Would you upgrade it towards Yarok or would you upgrade it towards Kulane?
That one's kind of tough because there isn't really that much white in this deck, and I cut to a white card right away. But there isn't really much white that's supporting it, I would say. It is mostly a blue-green deck. There are a couple of interesting white cards. It's mostly just Disruption and stacks. Like there's Oblivion Ring, there's Aven Mind-Sensor, there's Fiend Hunter. None of the like main cards are really white, so you'd be switching that out for black cards. And black cards, when you're going up the budgeted scale, when you're starting to spend more and more, black cards are on average more powerful.
Like I said before, right? Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor,
even like
Diabolic Intent.
You get access to what's the card? It's the card that Cobblepot won with his Yarok deck. That's just
Fenlurker.
Fenlurker, yeah, Yarok's Fenlurker. You get like access to enter the battlefield creatures that do negative things to your opponents. So it becomes on average a little bit easier to win the game with like just 2 creatures. But I would say that, like, for the budgeted version, I think I would prefer Kulane. There are a little bit there are too many expensive cards that you really need to get the Yarok deck going. Like that needs Amulet of Vigor too. That card's like $25 or something. I haven't looked at it in a while. But in addition to a bunch of things, I think on average that one's more expensive. This one is more budget and I think is still very, very good.
Yeah. This deck, this Pure and Toothy deck, is something. I goldfished a game before this one, and it draws a lot of cards. Like maybe too many cards in some situations.
Even in that game, you were set up to draw a lot of cards.
Yeah, like with Narset, obviously I can't play through Narset, so that's maybe a problem that you gotta, kind of mitigate with this deck. Maybe a little bit more removal and a little bit less on the counter magic side of things. I kind of had to dump my hand of counter magic earlier in the game and had no action for when Elliot started doing stuff. But, double Narset, like, there's literally no way I can win through that.
That was a pretty unlucky game for the table.
But, I mean, what are you going to do, right? As far as an upgrade path, I think this deck is very upgradable. I would definitely slot in probably a few more removal spells, and maybe, the good news is that counter magic tends to be fairly cheap. Outside of, the top tier. Stuff like, it already runs Dispel, but you can run. There's just like a few things that you can run that maybe make it a little bit smoother. This deck maybe wants to play Cryptic Command. It's like a 90% blue deck.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just because you get to bounce Toothy if you want, counterspell, bounce Toothy, counterspell, tap things down, attack with Toothy. There are some things that I think Cryptic Command does in this deck. But I think it scales up really, really well. In games where you're not playing against Narset, this deck, I think, is a force to be reckoned with.
For sure.
Definitely deserving of the win in the contest. Maybe not in the game. But
just retroactive.
Kind of unlucky. But just even the fact that if you draw a bunch of cards and you don't draw into anything that does anything, you've made a 20/20. And now you just get to crunch in with this 20/20.
Yeah, I feel like a major upgrade in this one would be Mana Rocks, especially net positive Mana Rocks. Even stuff like Mox Amber, I would play Mox Amber in a heartbeat in this deck. But anything that's net positive, because when you're drawing tons of cards, rather than just playing a Reliquary Tower and sitting on 20 cards in your hand, having net positive Mana Rocks means you can chain a couple together after you've drawn 15 cards, and then you can kind of hold up your interaction for when it goes around the table. And then you untap with a bunch and then do a whole bunch more. It makes a really big difference when you're drawing tons of cards like that, a la Ad Nauseam kind of thing. Yeah. When you're drawing 15 cards, having net positive Mana Rocks is a game breaker.
Super important.
You're saying, a very clear upgrade tree, right?
Definitely.
And they're not exactly the cheapest cards, but the the format legal Moxen, and then
I would definitely.
Vault even.
I would not be embarrassed to bring this to an unbudgeted EDH just by slotting in some of my Mana Rocks that I have in my other decks.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's the case with all these decks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just to start out, if you need a deck to play at your LGS, whatever, and you want to you have the itch to win a little bit more than the average deck builder, I think that these are a super good way to start.
Yeah. And pretty well balanced against each other too. So if you want to get a more competitive environment going in your LGS, maybe talk to 3 of your friends and say, hey, let's buy these decks and we'll play them against each other,
Or last seasons or the seasons before that.
Yeah, to be fair, all of the...
We've got, 16 with these 4? And that's not including all of the ones that didn't win.
There's still just this backlog.
Just this season, we had 90 more decks that didn't win. Yeah. They're all so good.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe 2 that I can think
I think both of them were submitted by somebody on our Discord, so I'm comfortable saying they're not good.
But anyway,
you know who you are.
If you want to check them out,
you
can buy these decks. We're going to toss the deck lists in the description below. If you can, use our TCG Player affiliate link if you're going to buy through TCG Player. That helps us out on the channel. And there's also going to be the other 90 deck lists if you want those. They're so good. So good. Yep. And stay tuned. We're going to be doing a little bit more budget content. I was able to get some data on the decks that were submitted, and I'll be able to do a little bit of analysis on that. It may not be a video, but keep an eye out on spikefeeders.com and on the EDH subreddit for that.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. With that, we'll catch you next week.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Spike Feeders on YouTube. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button. And you can click this link to check out our other great videos.